final super before we hop into the WoW news then.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about
from
today.
Razor. No, it's not from Razor. Yes, it is from Razor Claw 999. I was wondering if you could have some Bellular Gaming merch for us non-patron people to buy and support you, like stickers and shirts, and any news on the game you're developing. So I think this is a handy way for us to cover a few sort of PSA things.
Yes.
Right. Merch. So basically, here's the thing in my head. I don't want to just throw a logo in Teespring and sell that to people, because in my head, that's not a good enough thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be a good thing if we do it. So for me, and honestly, there's one man I need to talk to about this, and it's Mike. Preach.
Yep.
Because I'm fairly sure Mike's actually doing what we would ideally do, in that I don't think like the merch, like the tees and stuff that he does, I'm fairly sure he's actually working with a local t-shirt company.
I believe so. Anyway.
It's even, who knows? I shouldn't talk too much shop or anything. Like I remember him saying that in a video. When I was saying that, I was like, is there any way we could join forces in that? Don't know, because I bring that up because logistics are a bastard.
Really are, like.
So,
really are.
Soon I'm going to have to, let's see, I'll be signing and QCing, many hundred things. But, we do that once a month because of Patreon being, once a month. So what's tricky then is if we are going to be selling stuff, on a store all the time, well, it's either going to be something like Teespring where, they handle everything and basically you don't have as much control over, like, the experience and the product, which is not really what I would want. Yeah. Or you're handling fulfillment and distribution yourself, in which case, multiple times a week you have to ship stuff out. And that would right now mean me packing it up, putting it in my car, taking it to the post office.
Yeah.
And so that's not really feasible because it would mess up everything else. At some stage, what I want to do is like be able to make a sub team and handle all of that stuff and really do a good job of it. Right now, we are not there. I'm afraid.
I think there's a roadmap that we haven't exactly written down anywhere or talked about, but I feel like that is definitely somewhere on that roadmap in the future. I just have no concept of when that feasibly is. Yeah.
I think basically we need to hire one or two people, but like if you're hiring one or two people, man, you need to sell a lot of merch.
Yep, for sure.
You really do. And then it's like you've hired people, so that means you've committed. And, it's sort of tricky. But I would certainly like to do it. Absolutely. Also, news in the game you're developing. I've played. I mean, I can't fully give them the context of the build that I played because that's all part of a process and everything. But suffice to say, stuff's going really good. Stuff's going really, really good, and we will definitely have something due to external factors within the next few months to announce and talk about.
Yep, that sort of date range is definitely creeping up on us.
Getting terrifying. We need to put a lot of things in place. Cheers. I guess the other thing is Patreon podcasts. If you somehow want another multiple hours of us talking, we've got 3 podcasts up in Patreon now, and there'll be more coming weekly.
Yes. So if we can get ahead of ourselves, we should have another at least hour next Tuesday. Hopefully. We'll see. I
think right now on Patreon, there's 50 minutes for Losing Our Marbles episode 1.
Yep.
There is an hour and a half for Yogg-Saron episode, Lore Walking episode 1, which is on Yogg-Saron.
Yep.
And we're an hour and a half. How long actually was the final cut of yesterday's podcast?
I cut very little of that out. So there is the episode 1 of general chat, which I do like the subtitle episodes because it feels nice.
Yeah.
And I just called it a bumper first episode because it's 2 hours, 10 minutes of us talking about. We spend the first, I think, hour and 40 minutes talking about different World of Warcraft things, including Mythic Plus, including what we're doing for 9.1, what we're doing now. And then the last 30 to 40 minutes was us talking about what I had intended to be us talking about FF, but instead you ended up talking about Shogun 2 for a good while.
Love Shogun 2.
And then I ended up talking about Scarlet Nexus, which then led into us talking about the kind of last 20 years of Eastern and Western video games and how tech and this generation changing all for the better. So if you
standard want, podcast experience.
Yeah, so if you want 4.5 hours of us talking absolute garbage, it's there in the Patreon on the newly renamed content tier. It's $5 and above.
Just that it's not garbage. It's in fact, I actually think pretty good podcast content.
Oh yeah,
we will get better as speakers as time goes on.
Yeah, the reason I ended up in the office so late today is because I was publishing general chat this morning and I just ended up listening through half of the game. It's good, like.
Oh dear.